Alright, we don't know what we're doing. So we're going to make this video about not knowing what we're doing. What are we doing?
We're making a screen.
Ah, yeah, that's good. So, frames. Making frames. Making frames. And I've been making the frames. Now, you may not have this material. In fact, I know you won't, because I bought these 20 years ago at an old engine show at flea market. I bought, I don't know, a couple of hundred of these slats, and they were supposed to be redwood, but they might not be redwood. They might be western red cedar. But this is what I'm using for making my frames. I'm going to make a frame as a demonstration that's 46 by 34. And that'll be a spare frame for one of the ones I've already made. I'm going to show you how I cut them and hook them together. So these are 3/8 of an inch thick by 3/4 of an inch wide. I need one. I'm actually going to need two that's 46. The only tool I'm going to use is that coping saw. So I'm going to measure this off at 46. And I'm just going to kind of square it up with my eyeball. All right, there's one at 46. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay that across the end of that. Look, I cut the end of my thumb off the coping saw.
Why'd you do that?
Tasty. All right, I'm going to put that even with the end of that, and I'm going to draw a line right there, which is the width of that. I'm going to do the same thing on this end. I'm going to put it across, and I'm going to draw a line. Now, this is going to have a lap joint on the corners.
May I ask what a lap joint is?
Huh?
May I ask what a lap joint is?
It's going to go like this.
Okay.
Part of this, half of this is going to be removed. Now, I'm not going to measure nothing. I'm just going to take my coping saw on that line and start cutting, and then I'm going to put my finger on the back. As soon as I don't feel that blade working anymore, that's as deep as I'm going. Now I'm going to do this side. Get it on my line there. And I don't feel the back of that saw anymore, so that's as deep as I'm going. So now, let's move this screen here. I'm going to put this in this vise because it'll hold it easier. What I'm going to do, that line is about halfway through there because that's about the width of that. That's a little over 1/8 of an inch thick. So I'm going to line that up in the center, and I'm going to do my best to cut right down the middle there without going crooked. Now if I have to, if I went a little fat, I can go in and get that right there. So, there's that side. Well, let's just go ahead and cut this. If you don't want to watch, you can fast forward, or I can cut it out. I'll do this one too. So there's our cut. Go over there and let it meet. There we go. So that one's 42, no, 46. Now we need our 34. So I'm going to take one of these, put it at the end of my tape measure wooden rule, I need a tape measure. Go to 34. Now repeat. I'm going to eyeball it square at 34, maybe. Okay. Now, use that offcut for an end gauge. Make a mark there. Make a mark there. Go back and make our cut here. Just where you don't feel it. One on this side. Throw it in vise. Some of these are harder than others.
Is that because it's a different wood?
Yeah, it's probably the difference between heartwood, softwood, where it was located in the tree, distance between the growth rings. I could do all 4 of these and show you, but maybe we'll do 3. That way we can do some glue up. All right. These things that I'm about ready to knock off are the clamps that I built. Okay. So, what we got now is this right here. Yeah, I don't think you need to see all 4 because you're going to see exactly what happens. See how that goes together like that there? So what we'll do is put a little wood glue on there. This is Gorilla wood glue. And I smear it around so it gets on both sides pretty good. And then, oh! It's always great to have good tools.
Shoot the foot at your daughter.
So, all right, I'm gonna clamp that down right there. I'm gonna put this little square on it and get it square. And that's one corner. And what you do is you'd make 2 more pieces. I would need another 34 for that end and a 46 for this end, and then our overall dimensions is going to be 34 by 46. Once we have a finished frame, these are ready to go on the screen or fish shack, screen house, whatever we want to call it. I went out and I got some old boards from behind the barn. These are some, as you can see, old cedar boards. And I ripped those into pieces and made these. These are our clamps. These will secure the frame. They'll go on like that. This way. This way. That one on all 4 sides, and it clamps the screen in. And we'll be able to slide them out by just loosening the screws on 3 sides, taking one off and pulling them out, and then stowing them in the winter when we don't want them. Or in the fall, because we don't have bugs in the fall. So, that's how we do that. Any questions?
I don't think so. Pretty self-explanatory.
What about them people up there? They got any questions?
They might have some questions for you.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, my videographer deserted me after shooting her with the clamp foot, which I did fine. I went ahead and cut the other corners and pulled a couple of vice grip type clamps out, squared everything up, and there's our frame. We'll let her dry and I'll come back and show you how I put the screen on it. Anyway, oh yeah, and forgot to tell you, well, I showed you these. These are the clamps I made. These were made with the router out of that old cedar lumber, but the bonus was the cedar shavings that I was needing for my wood duck house. So there we go there. All right, I shall return and show you how to put a screen on this. Not sure when, because I got a dentist appointment in a half hour. So wish me luck. No videographer and no tripod again, so let's see what this does. Take her clamps off, glued overnight. Do I even have it pointing in the right direction? Probably not. There we go. There is a very lightweight square frame to put our screen on. There's something wrong with that screen over there. Yeah, it's all right. So, what I want to do, this is 46 inches, the frame. The screen is 48. What I want to do is get about an inch on 3 sides here. That's not cut straight, so that's going to be over an inch. If the camera wasn't there, I could just walk around in front of you. That's about an inch. Let's bring this way. Not quite an inch, right? Inch. Okay, that looks good to me there. I'm going to put a diagonal staple through this corner. These are 3/8 staples. So they kind of just sort of poke their little points. Now I'm going to pull this fairly snug on this corner. Diagonal in the corner. The other thing I do, in case these staples don't go clear in. Now, I'm going to staple this side that I've got pulled straight. Come around to this corner. And I'm going to kind of pull it snug again. I want about an inch extra on this side too, so I'm going to cut this off. Public service announcement. Tammy bought me DeWalt staples. I'd rather had Arrow. DeWalt's. I like them. Okay, so there we go. Now I'm going to swing this around. Now I don't want to stretch the jabbers out of this. I'm just going to kind of snug it down. buddy. What are you doing? Come here. Over here. Over here. Come here. Look. Come here. Get here. Look in the camera. So you can't. No, come here. Get here. Look. No, I don't. Okay. Come on. Get down. Good boy. No, this way. This way. Get out of my screen. Well, we're checking. This is the durability torture test, is it? Okay, get out. Stay there. All right. Well, if we can keep a German Shepherd out, we're good on mosquitoes. Although some of our UP mosquitoes are pretty ferocious. And it seems like it's the littler ones. The smaller they are, the worse they are, I think. It's wet out there. It's raining. Yeah, an unintended torture test, but look at here. There we go. Homemade screen. Now, I didn't mention before, I mentioned the size, that those rails were 3/8 by 3/4 of an inch. You can get a 1-inch board, which is 3/4 inches, at something with appropriate grain, something that's got nice straight grain. You don't want grain that's going off the side. You want something that's gonna stay straight. You could just take a board and rip strips that are 3/8 of an inch thick, and they'd be 3/4 of an inch tall if you wanted to make wood screens. But there's really nothing to it. There we go. Thanks for watching. Go make a screen, man. Come on, man. All right, I'm coming.